I watched, all in one day, I watched 1, 2, and 3.
Why did you do that to yourself?
Guys, Wrong Turn 2 Dead End is awesome. This movie is so stupid and insane, and it doesn't give a
It's time to hack the movies. Today, we're talking about tapes with Tony and Newt and Crystal.
Well, how is everyone today?
You want to explain the mustache?
You want to shut the hell up?
Oh my God.
Okay, let's talk about Wrong Turn.
This episode's already taken a wrong turn.
Yes. By the way, welcome back, Crystal.
Oh, thank you.
Oh yeah, thirst trap.
Yeah. All right. Give them a couple seconds to leave their comments. Okay. Oh, there they go. There they go.
Oh my God.
All right. Sip number 1. Sip number 2.
Guys,
Something about your feet. Okay. Anyway,
money's money.
we are here to talk about Wrong Turn,
We are.
which is being remade after having 5 sequels.
When you told me that, I was like, what? Nuh-uh.
I have 3 of them here.
I know.
And then I have the 5th one, but I don't have the 4th or 6th one. So
How many was Henry Rollins in?
just one.
Okay, that's all I knew about it. Was
Look. At the end of this review, I will recap 2 and 3 for
my
you guys
God.
very briefly.
You're so
But
we're so lucky.
let's go back and talk about the original Wrong Turn, which for some reason created a very long franchise and now a remake. Despite the fact not being all that memorable.
No.
There's a few scenes. This is what I like to think, and Newt likes to think, is Eliza Dushku's breakout role.
No.
What else was she in?
Bring it on. It's the only reason why I asked my mom to rent this when I was younger.
Oh.
You weren't a Buffy fan? I know she was in Buffy.
I actually never watched Buffy. I've
She
been
was
wanting
in
to.
True Lies.
True Lies.
Yeah.
No, bring it on.
No.
So Bring It On, I said the only reason I saw it was because I was down the Jersey Shore and there was 3 movies playing in a theater. It was Godzilla 2000, Bring It On, and Little Vampire.
Yeah, My Little Vampire.
My Little something like that
Yeah.
with Jonathan Lipnicki. Godzilla was sold out for some reason.
Which is weird because that movie was a bomb in America.
Yeah.
So.
And so my buddy and I went to go see Bring It On, and we're like, oh.
It was
yeah,
okay.
It was all right.
I've seen the movie. It's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
That's another one that spawned
look,
like.
Crystal, I wasn't the demographic for that movie. I was not a teenage girl who
I
liked
was
cheerleading.
literally cheerleading at the time as a competition cheerleader.
Yes.
And I was like,
Yes.
I want to be like
so
that.
you were the target demographic.
We'll
That's
show
the
us-
director of that did Ant-Man, right?
Yes.
Bring It On, yeah.
So we have a picture of Crystal from Mars vs. Cheerleaders
Yes,
we can put
right
right here.
here, right here.
What's
Oh,
up?
there they go
Oh,
again.
look at those.
There they go again.
Oh my
skirt.
God.
That's rude. Delete that
an alcoholic.
comment. Delete that comment.
So I
Okay.
forgot that I had seen this movie. This movie ties directly into the Master of Disguise episode.
How?
An ex-girlfriend of mine watches the show.
Okay.
And she goes, oh my God, I haven't thought about the guy banging his head into the wall in so long.
Go back and watch the Master of
the
Disguise
episode.
Well, watch the whole episode, please.
Mostly just watch my part.
Oh, at the very end, Newt told a story of how he screwed over a guy who wanted to watch Blue Crush and instead put Master of Disguise
And he
on.
Of course,
saw
Newt
it
had to be in
and
the episode.
smashed
Yeah.
his head against the wall. So she goes, well, do you remember the time that we took that guy to see Wrong Turn? And I was like, holy shit, it's the same guy.
What did he do?
So I had an ex-girlfriend, and she had this good friend from her work, and she just got out of this long relationship. And my theater that Justin and I worked at, we didn't get horror movies because the old GM used to be like, we don't want to bring that element in here. So we're like, all right. So we were going to another theater to see Wrong Turn because like, all right, it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Hills Have Eyes, Deliverance, whatever.
Oh, it is all those things.
Oh, yeah, it's all those things. So she's like, well, my friend is going to come. Do you have any single friends? And the only person
You picked that guy.
I picked that guy.
Oh, baby.
So here's what's good about it. So we're in the drive to the theater. We're going to the Cinemark in Summerdale, New Jersey. And she's like, if this guy's not a complete and total fucking loser, I might hit that tonight. Rebound. And I'm like, all right, now, as a woman... because I am a feminist.
Yes.
With that information, I did not give him that information.
Okay,
because
good.
I feel like that would have been like fishing with dynamite.
Be like that episode of The Office where they tell Michael he's on a date and
Yeah.
starts
Yeah.
ruining it.
So
Yeah.
I don't say anything to him, and we're standing in line, and the coiled spring guy that we talk about in the Master Disguise episode walks up, and he looks at her, and she's a nice girl, and he goes, "So you're paying for your own ticket?" My vagina got dry.
Thanks for that story, Newt. So anyway, like I said, breakout role for Eliza Dushku. And directed by some guy who has directed things.
Yeah.
Things I have not seen.
No.
But Stan Winston's production company was involved.
I think it was the interns.
Was it the B team? Was it the B team? I think it was the Stan Winston B team.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. The killers don't look great, but the gore is pretty good.
So we'll get to it when I'm an ugly man, so I can't pass a lot of judgment.
Can't relate.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're handsome, you know. And I was like, well, they're kind of ugly, but like, this is West Virginia. We're talking about to anyone who's from West Virginia watching this.
Yeah, wow. Here they go. Now they're all leaving. Big demographic in West Virginia. Let's show our demographic in West Virginia. So the opening scene is actually pretty creepy. And if you didn't know that this was a movie about like killer mountain men, it's kind of like, ooh, what is it? I was getting a little bit of Predator vibes. So there's like a couple rock climbing.
Well, hold on. Why did so many early 2000s movies think rock climbing was the way to open their movie? Yeah,
it was extreme.
Fucking extreme, yeah.
Vertical,
yeah,
which I've never actually seen.
With Chris O'Donnell.
I saw that clip though of the dad dying, and it was the funniest thing in the world. The scene's pretty creepy. It's like a couple mountain climbing, and the boyfriend goes up, and then he like comes up and he's all bleeding.
Well, it's Rich, pull me up. Rich, give me the line. I'm like, fucking Rich.
Yeah. And then she starts getting pulled up, and then she eventually like collapses. Then we see like the trees like moving. And when I first saw this, like I said, I didn't know it was mountain men.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this reminds me of Predator. And I like Predator. You like Predator, right? So after that first scene, which I think is pretty good. I think it's a tense, fun scene. It's not great.
Okay.
Yeah.
How the hell did they not trip on the barbed wire though going there? She just randomly trips going to the car. The car is right there and she just fucking trips. I'm like, what the fuck?
You're going to learn that their traps are very... They didn't think it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
No one. But also the people falling for the traps don't think.
No.
I really like the opening credit scene with like the newspapers, which again has been done in other things, but it's like it's giving you an idea. It's like genetic mutations, and missing person,
and it's ham-fisted, but it's what this movie needed. You know.
Yeah.
It was probably the best part of the movie.
Yes, and then we get Desmond Harrington of Ghost Ship fame.
Yes.
We all loved him in Ghost Ship as Ferryman.
Yes.
Who was a ferry of souls.
Didn't you cover? Didn't you do Ghost Ship?
We did do Ghost Ship.
Go check out
Ghost Ship.
Yeah.
Go check out that review. Ghost Ship is a wreck. It's a great one. He's got to go somewhere. He never explains where he has to go.
He's like a doctor, and he's all business, and he's businessy business,
and has to be.
He has to be somewhere.
Yeah.
But I like that he's listening to like generic early it sounds like, you ever listen to like a farm simulator soundtrack that's clearly made in Germany, but it needs to sound American? It's like American rock music,
but he needs directions, so he stops at a gas station.
And
he goes the other way because there's a traffic on the road.
That's the thing. That's the thing. He gets the directions from the creepy guy, but then he makes a wrong turn, which is a good setup for the ending, which we'll get to, but I kind of like that.
No, it wasn't really a wrong turn. It was a conscious choice.
No, I think he just couldn't remember where to go. Like, he forgot the guy's
because he was all business and he couldn't think about it.
Yeah, he was too business.
Yeah.
But why would you go down the dirt path when there's clearly a paved road?
Because
paved roads will go further than a fucking dirt road around a mountain.
He thought that's where he had to go.
Yeah.
Fucking dumbass deserves to die.
Oh no!
Anyway,
everyone in this movie does things that makes them deserve to die.
Why?
For watching this movie, we deserve to die.
You're a businessman. Go down the paved road. You will get somewhere than a dirt road.
As he is driving, I can't relate to the scene. He is distracted by a dead deer.
And the fact that his CD is skipping, but his CD is skipping as if it's a radio not getting a signal because it's in the mountains. But before that, he stops at that gas station.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is the scene right out of The Hills Have Eyes original.
Yeah.
But the dude's got one tooth.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, like, how did Central Casting find him? And also, he was scarier looking than the 3 mutant cannibal men that we're going to see later.
I got a bombshell about that guy I want to tell you at the end.
Excellent.
Anyway, so I couldn't relate to him being distracted by a deer.
No.
Because we live I don't know what universe is this store in New Jersey?
Yeah.
We live in
What's
Bucks
the name
County.
of this
Yeah.
store, by the way?
Hack the Movies video.
Oh.
We relocated to Bucks County. That was in the missing lost episode. Anyway,
If you
what
sign up
episode? That was our missing Puppet Master 5
No,
episode.
you have to sign up for Tony's Patreon and pay for it to see
No,
what.
because it doesn't actually exist.
Oh yes, no, it doesn't
Anyway,
exist.
so we live in I live in Bucks County. I've lived here since 2008.
Yeah.
So I've seen a trillion dead deer, and
Yeah.
it doesn't even phase me
I saw
anymore.
3 on the way here.
Yeah.
One was still half alive.
It doesn't even phase. So the fact that he was like, "Oh my god, a deer!" It's like, who cares?
Well, I guess because they're setting up that he's like city business doctor man.
No,
No,
that's
because
bad
then
stuff.
later it's like, why is he even looking at it? Because he knew exactly what the mink was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This movie's stupid.
So then he crashes.
Yeah.
Into Eliza Dushku and her friend's car.
Yeah.
Luckily, they were not in it for some
No,
reason.
yeah.
So he's like all upset about it. They're like, "Oh my god, are you okay?"
Yeah.
And then
How
we
did they
meet.
not see that car, though? It was clearly in the middle of the road.
I know. Well, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have had to have seen it for like
He
a
had
long
to.
Yeah.
time. It's not like
he
it
said
jumped.
I was curious. I actually rewind it, and I was like, what the hell happened? He said he went around the curb, or the, whatchamacallit?
The bend.
The bend.
Yeah.
The word's the bend.
Yes. Okay.
He said he went around the bend and then
but
couldn't
still, like,
see it. But even
again,
though, you could still
we,
see a car.
We live up here where there's all kinds of hills and there's
Yeah.
woods and stuff like that, and it's like, no, there's peripheral vision before you get to that point. So again, if this guy's a doctor, fuck this doctor.
But then we meet our star.
Yes.
Eliza Dushku.
Eliza
and she is
Dushku.
Albanian. How can you tell?
Because it's on her.
She's got like the symbol from the
Yeah.
Albanian flag because she is actually Albanian. She wanted it to be represented. It's like that. Okay.
All right.
I mean, why not?
I mean, to be
Alright.
fair, her white tank top does not get very damaged or bloody or wet during this movie. So maybe if we all got Albanian clothes.
I think we can all agree it would be better if she was Macedonian. So Eliza Dushku figures out. She's like, "Oh no," because they had a flat tire, which
Yeah.
is why they were in the middle of the road. And she's like, "This was on purpose. I found this trap with barbed wire," and everyone's just like, "Oh, ain't that weird?" It's like, what? This is not like a thing
Yes.
that happens.
Yes.
Like someone deliberately did this, and they're like, the
It's
damnedest thing.
fine.
So they decide to like walk and look for help.
Can I ask why they decided to keep going down that dirt road instead of going back on the main road where there was houses?
Yeah.
And a gas station.
And a gas station.
But there was also regular houses
No.
not that far. Literally,
Hold on.
right when he made that down that dirt road,
Crystal.
there was houses.
Yeah.
because then the plot wouldn't happen.
Yeah, the plot wouldn't happen, Crystal.
Yeah, come on. You got to get with this.
Yeah.
Look at what the Simps are saying.
Look at what they're saying. Anyway,
So we meet our people,
yes.
and there's Eliza Dushku.
Yeah.
Who I couldn't remember what I was like. Was she a Dark Angel or Dollhouse
Bring
or
it
one
on.
of those things? Whatever. And then there's the tall.
True Calling. Sorry. It was True Calling.
There was the tall guy who looked like the porn star James Dean.
Oh
and
my
the only,
God, that's why he looks so familiar.
The only reason I know who James Dean was, aside from his cancel thing, was he got, for a short period of time, obsessed with Underbelly.
Huh.
The web show that Justin and I used to do. We
my
did an
God.
episode about Gaston was the true hero.
Oh, yeah. I love that video.
He became obsessed with that video, and his social media was flooded with Underbelly videos for a while. And then he got canceled, and people were like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And we were just like, "Do not engage."
Well, he was great in the Seinfeld porn parody. Anyway,
Yes, yeah.
You know a lot of porn stars.
I do know an adult.
So they left two people behind with the car.
The redheaded girl from Cry Wolf and Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
And the stoner guy
with the stupid
that
glasses.
fucking Lance Armstrong glasses.
I
I'm like,
know.
I hope you don't live
Lance
strong.
Armstrong, that liar.
He was, but at this point he wasn't though. People didn't know that he was a liar.
I know. I
He
had
was
to
still he was still with Sheryl Crow at that point.
I had to read his goddamn book
Oh.
in sophomore year of high school and do a report on it and everything.
Oh, sorry.
And I want to go back to my school and be like, hey, you made me praise a liar in my book report. Yeah, so they're staying behind, but it's like, you just found out your car was deliberately sabotaged with barbed wire. Why did you leave two No, you guys, take whatever is valuable
and go the other way.
out.
and just all go together.
Yeah.
all go together.
But instead, they had to smoke that good shit.
Yeah.
And then, and I mean, look, when a redhead tells you take your pants off, you do what they say.
Yeah, is it implied they had, like, sex on top of the hood of the car?
Blowjob. She gets down.
She
She starts going down on him.
But,
then you see nothing. Nothing is referenced after that.
But
Nothing.
in the middle of the road still?
If
But,
help
there's
is,
weirder
well, no,
places.
she says in the thing, she's like, if help's gonna come, they'll catch us. So, like,
Okay, look, I get it.
Yeah.
I get, like, the voyeurism and the exhibitionist stuff. But your car literally just got plowed by another car.
and he's about to plow her
yeah,
in
and
a
it's-
car.
by the way, it's still in the same place where it got hit.
Yeah.
Maybe move the blowjob into the woods, just to be safe. Just to be safe, right?
Can we get that on a T-shirt? Move the
Move your
blowjob into the woods. Tony from Hack the Movies.
So we find out. They mention before they get killed. They mention that they're all there because Eliza got dumped.
yes.
Dumbest thing in the world.
And
Yeah. So we find out that she got dumped, and all her friends were like, "Let's make her feel better because she can't handle." Breakups really well like an adult, so let's all go to the woods to
But
make her feel
this
better.
is-
That.
this is where your first twist could happen that would pay off later in the movie. And we'll get to it, but again, because the writer was so fucking lazy and just taking from other movies that were already successful of this ilk, they didn't do anything interesting with it. She gets broken up with because, and this is my version if I was writing The Wrong Turn, she gets pregnant. She finds out she's pregnant and the guy couldn't handle it, so they're gonna go into the woods. And that would wait. As a vacation, that would play into why the mountain men keep her alive at the end.
Right.
That would make so much more sense, wouldn't it? Because she's
hate
a
to say you're
breeder.
a better writer.
I am a
hate
better
to-
writer
I hate
than
to say that,
guy
but
who wrote this.
So,
can I just ask who the fuck is taking this girl who just broke up with her boyfriend and be like, hey, I'm gonna go out with my fiance. This other couple's also gonna. She is the fifth wheel of two other couples.
No, because they might meet a doctor in the woods.
yeah. Why don't you just like
Girls trip. Someone breaks up, you go on a girls trip. You don't fucking bring
Not
your
to the
significant other.
woods. They go to the city. They go to a strip club in New
I
York.
wouldn't mind going camping with my girls, having a girls' night camping.
don't you just like go over and listen to them bitch and cry for like an hour or two and then leave?
There's also, I think, from what I know about women, when they get together, they have tickle fights and
Yes.
pillow fights.
Yeah, tickle fight,
yes,
pillow
that's what we
fight.
do.
Yeah, yep.
Listen to you bitch and then leave. Right?
Yes, that's exactly what girls
You don't need to
do.
do this woods
Yep.
trip shit. You know what? I've only been dumped once.
Oh boy.
I went through many bad breakups, but I was only never dumped once. And like, I hung out with a friend of mine. We watched some movies, and then I moved on with my life. I didn't say, hey, let's go to the woods.
No, because then that dude was going to be like, yo, I think Tony's going to hunt me for sport. Especially if he had that mustache.
Yeah. Don't ask about my
Oh, I'm
mustache.
sorry.
The first guy is killed off screen.
Yes.
We cut back to our stoners. They have finished doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
And at first, I was just like, when I first saw this years ago, I was able to remember a lot of this movie more than I thought.
There was only one scene I remember.
But I remember being like, oh, because the other kills were kind of off screen. I'm like, is this going to be off screen too? But then
She gets
the girl
fucking
gets barbed wire to
Yeah.
her face.
That was okay, but I also want to ask, how does she not hear the other guy get murdered? His
Oh, no.
ear got ripped off. You just see an ear laying on the ground.
with all
how
the-
do you
all
not
the
hear? He's
dumb-
right there.
All the dumb fucking early 2000s, like the staples in it. I'm like, you know what? Between that dude's haircut,
Yeah.
his earrings, and his glasses, fuck that dude.
That guy-
And this is the first of where my favorite characters in this movie are the hillbilly, well, Hill Williams, because they're classy.
Please. So they get to a dead end.
Yeah.
Is it the dead end from Wrong Turn to Dead End? I forget. But they're at the dead end. They're looking at this big, like, quarry ravine. I forget
Yeah.
what it is. And there's like, well, we got to go back and blah, blah. And the girl says,
Just get me to a motel room, run me a very hot bath, and be prepared to provide me with a lot of orgasms.
is that supposed to be sexy? That sounds weird.
They're really forcing the sex in this movie.
Yeah,
And
without
you see
showing
seems like
anything.
I think it's like written by someone who's like heard of sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like, yes, orgasms are what happens.
And
when
it
you
seems like
climax
it's the girl that's like, oh, I'm going to give you a blowjob. You better give me orgasms. Like, please stop
Don't you
trying
like when
so
you
hard.
grab a boob and it feels like a bag of sand?
This is a whole bunch of bag of sands comments.
But I had an idea. I had two thoughts.
I would like to practice the method of reproduction without the intended result. That was sex in the disguise.
I had
Yes.
two thoughts while watching this movie. First, has anyone ever gone deep into the woods of, let's say, West Virginia again? I'm sorry, West Virginia, and had a good time? Like, nothing good ever happens
In West Virginia? No,
deep in the woods.
I mean, I was a Boy Scout and spent a lot of time deep in the woods.
I went camping in West Virginia. It was fun.
Okay,
Yeah, I
and
had
my
sex.
second thought of, the trailers kind of showed that they're like mountain men and cannibals or whatever. How fucking awesome would it be if we find out that this is a moon of Endor and they're fucking cannibal Ewoks? That movie would be awesome.
Just out of nowhere,
Yeah, it's like this is a Star Wars movie because the prequels were going on at this time too, and George Lucas is like,
So they stumble upon a creepy cabin because of course they do, because this movie is not very original.
No.
And it is the scariest looking cabin ever.
Yeah.
There's like, unlike Texas Chainsaw where they like hide the cars under like blankets and stuff, they're so far in the woods that they're just like random cars stripped and pulled apart everywhere, and they're walking, they're like, well, this place might have to have a phone.
Yeah.
We gotta go in. I don't remember seeing any
And
phone lines. What if
she
they have been
goes-
like,
No.
I don't see any phone
she
lines.
goes, oh, I have to pee.
Yeah, the woods.
What?
I said that while watching it. So
Yes.
so they're going through the thing, and it's kind of like all the shit that they stole from other people that they killed. It looks like the back room of From Dusk Till Dawn at the Titty Twister. Yeah. So you've seen just this room full of nightmares, and you go, oh yeah, I'm gonna go in there because I can stand up and pee. She's got to sit down. If I saw that bathroom, I would rather squat over fucking spiders made of poison ivy than go in that bathroom. Are you kidding me? She couldn't just go in the woods and
Yes.
fucking James Dean couldn't be watch for her?
James
With-
Dean, the porn actor,
porn
right?
star,
Yeah.
yes. With
Not
his
the dead
fucking-
actor.
But
Not
she
the
goes
dead
in there.
actor.
She's like gagging while she's in there. Open air, fresh open air, West Virginia.
Again,
just
whoever wrote this didn't know like how women work. Like,
No, exactly.
Nothing.
yes, they must sit down to pee on something,
there was,
right?
I don't even think there was a toilet seat.
I don't. It
was just like a bowl.
When they
It
pee
was
out of their
nasty.
vagina,
Yeah.
that is where pee comes from.
It comes from
Which
the
is
butt.
located on the front of their body, I believe. Anyway, so the guy says, I need to remind you of a movie called Deliverance. Don't name drop one of the movies you're ripping off in the
And
movie.
here's
your
the thing,
movie,
Yes.
Those dudes were like rapists of Ned Beatty and Burt Reynolds.
poor Otis.
Yeah, poor Otis. Fucking squeal like a pig, Otis.
But like, you're clearly trying to be like that movie. Don't reference that other movie,
But
especially when you're not as good
Even
as that
when
movie.
like they recreate the shot where he finds the generator from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the car graveyard is from The Hills Have Eyes. Stop, dude! Like even like Friday the 13th Part 2, there's some of that in it, you know.
Yeah, and then the killers come home.
I like. Yeah, okay. They drive the Jeepers Creepers van, which is even
They
scarier.
rented it from
Yeah.
the Creeper. The Creeper, he sleeps for like 2 decades,
Yeah.
right? Well, when he's not using his truck, he's
They're
like, hey
using
guys,
Gotcha.
I ate a young boy because this movie's written by a pedophile.
Who
you can
taught-
ride my truck for the next 20 years.
Who taught them to drive? It's like the same person who taught Michael Myers to drive. And then this is where we introduce that they're like giggling and they're having a good time. And I loved it. Every time I'm like, I like these
know
characters.
what I
You related to them way too much.
I did.
You know what I loved? They have a door in their house that opens up to just nothing. It's just a wooden wall. It's like, why do they have that door?
So there was a room. I had a comic book store in the mall, which I've talked about many times before. And there was a back door in like the overstock storage. And when you opened it up, there was just a brick wall there. And I was like, oh, that's terrifying. Like imagine you're like high at work at Christmas time or something, and you open it up and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah. This scene's really good though. When they are hiding under the bed and then they throw her friend who's still alive and she's like bleeding and they're like, and they have to be quiet and the killer drops his like his shell.
Yeah.
And he's like reaching down. Like, I don't know. I thought that part was really, really tense.
Too cliche.
It's very cliche, but it was done
And it was
well.
I don't know, and the lighting was bad. Like it didn't. None of this.
Everything looked
The
bad.
movie was never lit well enough to be this
You know
kind of
what
movie.
was bad? As much praise as I'm giving this scene, when they start like peeling the girl, they like zoom into the keyhole of the door, and it's like the worst CGI.
Yeah,
Like, ooh, I wouldn't have done that.
Remember when they did it so much better in the 1970s with Black Friday or Black Christmas?
Yeah. So the CGI thing is pretty terrible, but then it's also kind of scary when they're like trying to leave because the bad guys take a nap in the middle of the day.
Well, they just ate.
They're tired.
They had
tired.
a tough day, you know.
They are tired, and I feel like when they
people. How many people are they really killing? You know, every
these
day?
fuckers are eating good this week.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that's weird.
I do like when Desmond's opening the door and the spring is too loud, so he's like holding it and bleeding, but then like he looks back and the killer's just awake.
Well, why did they open the screen door all the way open?
I like
as
that this-
if they couldn't just sneak
Yeah, they
out.
really could have just slid. They didn't have to open it all
wide
the way.
open.
while
You're like,
I was
oh, wait, your
watching
hand's
it,
bleeding?
and they're showing like the one who's like laying back, I was like, this would be great if it was like a gritty reboot of the Country Bear Jamboree from the. But again, the music, the score is so bland.
Yeah.
The lighting is so bland that it
Yeah.
removes tension. I was trying to find things about this because Tony's like, oh, well, yeah, it's cliche, but this was good and this was good, and I was like, I don't know.
I don't know. I thought that
I
scene
don't
was
know
pretty
if
tense.
I don't
liked
know,
it.
Tony.
You guys, you know what, Newt? You're just so negative.
Well,
and you just like to shit on things like Ghostbusters 2. I still can't believe.
That was really fucked up.
I still can't believe you forced me to say all those bad
did.
things about Ghostbusters. I love Ghostbusters.
because I'm more buff than Tony,
Yeah.
so.
You guys, I was forced by Newt. He said he would give me a swirly if I didn't. I love Ghost, and Crystal loves Ghostbusters too.
Oh yeah, all
she
of
loves-
them.
but she-
all of them.
No, not all of them.
not
Oh my
all
god,
of them.
not all of them. No, you only like 1 and 2.
I mean, I only like 1 and 2.
Your Simps left. You idiot. Oh my god.
Well, now they really, really can't wait for Trisha to come back on the show. Wait, when they're like, cause a diversion, and he's like, hey, over here.
Over here.
And he gets shot like a jackass.
But don't worry, he's a doctor, so
And
he
then the
can
other
heal
guy-
his leg magically.
The other guy just goes, motherfucker, asshole motherfucker, while waving his arms over his head like fucking Kermit the Frog when he leaves a scene.
And then he gets shot probably more times than Sean Bean in Lord of the Rings. Like
Yeah.
he's walking, but like you don't see him get shot. You just see him go like, ugh.
Well,
ugh.
okay, so
and then
they-
he turns around to reveal. all
They
the
steal
evidence.
they steal the mountain cannibal inbred guy's truck. And he's getting diversion. Here he comes, and he's gonna get to the road. And then now the dude's fucking Katniss Everdeen, and is like just shooting him. But like they reveal the one on his back, then they show the one on the front, and I was like, well, that didn't make any sense. But all
You
right,
guys
whatever.
just fast forwarded so much.
What happened?
What?
He doesn't get shot with arrows yet.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
He got shot with the He doesn't get shot until arrows until after they steal a car.
Oh, right. They stole a car.
They started shooting
I just
at
said
him.
they stole the car.
We'll check the tape. Yes, they steal a car. They get a car running, and then they ride away. And as they're driving, he's like, "Hey, save me!" And then he gets shot.
I really
Never
I don't
listen
listen
to a
you.
word I say.
I was
And
like, wow, you
can't-
just totally skipped that entire part.
Can't wait till Johanna comes back.
You know what? As good as the Archer is in this, it's not as unrealistic as Jason in the Friday the 13th reboot, where he headshots a guy in the middle of a lake who's driving a speedboat with a bow and arrow, and it's like, and then you see his face and his eyes all down here. I'm like, that guy's not bullseyeing anyone.
But so the girl whose boyfriend just died also says as they're making the getaway that they ask, is the redheaded girl going to be okay? And I was like,
No, that girl's dead.
She's
they ripped her skin off. and-
dead.
She literally asked, you guys didn't see what they did to my friend. They were all in
They
the
were all
same room. Did you forget they were there?
So because this movie is very original, the girlfriend of the guy who just died, she starts going crazy.
Yeah.
And she's like in shock, and she's like slowing them down. And it reminds me of this movie that's very famous for doing it. It's called Hack the Living Dead.
Oh.
Now the girl in that movie, her brother dies, and for most of the movie, she's like catatonic and screwing things up. I don't know if you ever seen my movie Hack the Living Dead. I did it with George A. Romero, and I think we did a good job directing that movie together. You should check it out. It's on YouTube.
No.
Well, some people consider it a classic. Some
Yeah.
parts of the movie they consider a classic.
Not the parts that Tony's in per se, but the
okay.
rest they do. But my
Okay,
favorite part
gotcha.
about the getting away scene as the girl's losing her mind is that Eliza Dushku is driving like Jack Death.
Jack Death and Trancers.
Look at our Trancers episode
the
up
actor,
here.
It looked like the actor never held a steering wheel before. And he's like,
Yeah.
So the characters find a watchtower.
Yes.
And they believe that there is a radio in there, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right after their truck gets fucking stuck out of nowhere.
There's like a big tree in the woods.
Again, these mountain men have been living. So there's probably been a whole family. They've evolved. They've devolved. Whatever.
Yeah.
They're out there and they're living off the land. You would think that their trucks would be able to handle the terrain. You would think that they would have like. All I kept thinking in the scene where they're sleeping, where the guy just so happened to wake up, was like, they should have like senses like a fucking deer.
Wait, hold on. Why are they going down a road that has why didn't they just go back the way they came?
Yeah.
Because because again, the writer was Jack Death, and he's like, oh no, I gotta write this movie.
Full Moon, hit us up for Trancer 7.
Yeah, we'll do it. Helen Hunt, call me.
We'll get Helen Hunt back, don't worry.
You can even wear your Confederate flag jacket. It's cool.
So they have to go up this really big watchtower.
Yeah.
And there's only one little ladder that they have to go
And
up.
that dude is super, for getting shot in the leg, he's spry as fuck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Newt, he's a doctor.
The other night I woke up to pee at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I got a Charlie horse, and I kneeled down on my floor, and I literally told my cat to shoot me. Like, I was like, please kill me. But he's fine. He's going up and down the ladder.
I sat on the toilet for too long the other day, and my leg fell asleep. But I didn't know it fell asleep. I was like, oh, wow, my leg feels... It's one of those things where, like, you get up, take a couple steps, and then you get the pins and needles, and I almost collapsed.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
So me and Newt are going to die soon.
Yeah. Can you imagine, though, like, your girlfriend comes home from work, and just the first thing she sees is just your puckered asshole in there. It's like, well... There he is.
He's dead.
Internet superstar Tony from Hack the Movies.
So they get into the watchtower, and I don't know. I thought the green screen was seamless. What did you guys?
Holy shit.
Guys, I don't see any roads or towns out there.
Son, stand by the window. They might see us.
Everything in that scene, that entire watchtower scene sucked.
And they looked out. They look out at the beautiful sunset for a second.
Oh yeah, I was like, nature's beautiful and filled with mutants. But it's just like, so again, the fucking mutant cannibal mountain men, shouldn't that shit be booby trapped? Because they're like, hey, in the event that somebody comes up here, that's good eating.
I imagine the people who go there have guns. Oh no, that doesn't matter.
So let me.
it doesn't matter.
Let's do a quick aside, okay?
I know you love your asides.
When I was in the 5th grade, I had a friend named Kevin, okay? You knew Kevin.
I know Kevin.
Kevin was on a basketball team with a guy named Phil, all right? Phil's grandpa just one day decided, well, I'm done with society, and moved into the Pine Barrens and built a house out of like chicken wire and shit that he found, and he literally became one of these people.
Yeah.
And they had to like go track his grandpa down, but his grandpa was like 70, but was like he was the predator, you know? This homeboy in the woods in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey took 3 guys to bring him down. He had booby traps all over the place.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was like that, you know? And I'm like, these dudes, like, they do this for a living, and they don't know to booby trap the watchtower and the fucking waterfall. They're bad at their jobs.
Yeah.
But they giggle and drive around a funny little car, so I'm for them in this movie. Again, I am pro hillbilly.
Okay, so Hill William.
No, well, yes, Hill William.
There you go.
So they get the radio.
Yeah.
But as soon as they find the radio, like the killers come. And then
Can I ask why they had the giant glow stick? Why they thought that was a good idea to light 2 of them up and not hide it? And then when the guys look up at the watchtower, the entire thing is lit.
Yeah.
Oh,
wait.
pink.
That's also right.
It got dark really fast.
Right before that scene happened, the doctor almost steps on a totally unrelated bear trap.
right.
And
That's right.
the girl laughs at him. You're like,
Well, she's crazy
She's
and
getting-
cat
it
Lost
doesn't matter.
it.
It's
She's
like,
crazy.
Carly, now's not the time.
She's crazy.
It doesn't
Her
matter.
beautiful fiance,
Yes.
who looks like
James Dean, the porn star.
died like the guy in the Lord of the Rings 2 seconds ago. Okay.
So they go up in the watchtower
Yeah,
and
the radio turns on.
Yeah.
It alerts the killers, and they're like, shit. So the killers start like lighting up fires and
Yeah,
stuff
they
to
come
burn
with-
down. And they decide, you know what? Well, the one girl's like, I'd rather jump than burn.
Yeah.
And then the guy goes, that's a great idea. And I think for a second, everyone's like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, we'll jump onto these insanely big branches that can hold all our weight.
Apparently, Eliza Dushku, like, separated her shoulder in the making of this movie, and they left the popping sound in the sound mix. Yeah.
Really?
When she hits that branch, if that branch was real,
Yeah.
all her ribs would be broken. The way she hits that branch, I'm like, I wouldn't have filmed that because that looks like she just died.
Yeah.
Like, there's
So,
no way you're getting up from that.
Let's do another aside since we like these.
God damn it! I'm gonna cut
No,
the
no.
scene. No, I'm gonna interject the scene from Lincoln where the guy gets mad at Abraham Lincoln and goes, "No,
You're going to tell a story. I don't believe that I can bear to listen to another one of your stories right now.
I'm in the 2nd grade. I'm in my friend's treehouse, and we were playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I thought that I could jump and grab a branch, so I jumped out of the thing, I grabbed the branch, and I weighed 20 pounds, whatever. The branch came loose, and I hit every branch on the way down, and my body was bent the other way, and the kids saw me and went, he's hurt, run, and they left me in this dude's backyard.
But it's like, all right, you know what? I don't know what the woods are like in West Virginia.
No.
But these trees are like, they have the strength of like California redwoods.
Yeah, they're like made from titanium.
It's like the trees in the first Hulk movie that could just, they can support the weight of the Hulk and 3 giant dogs. It's like, wow, those trees are really strong. The killers are in the trees and they're like, oh, we gotta be real quiet in these trees. But the killer.
Well, no, before that though, so the guy, the radio goes off and they're like, what's your position? What's your position? Here's how I would have gotten all you guys killed.
Yeah.
I would have said reverse cowgirl and they would have just hung up on me and then we're dead.
Okay. So then we get a tense scene of them trying to walk across a big branch.
Yeah.
And 2 of them do it, but poor, what's her name?
Carly?
Poor Carly. And this is, for me, was the most memorable part of the movie.
This is the only part of the movie I remembered.
Only
Yeah.
part that was
And
actually
it does
decent.
not look as good as I remembered it.
Oh, yeah. So the killer comes, hits her with the axe, and we see the top of her head, and the camera pans back, and we see the rest of her body falling and hitting every branch on the way down, then plummeting. And it's like this cartoony body going, whoop, 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 whoop.
But again, this scene is undercut by the fact that it's lit like the E.T. ride at Universal Studios. Remember you're in the woods on that ride?
I love that ride.
It looked like that, and I'm like, oh my God, like all you had to do was add some cool greens and blues to that and make it tense.
You know
This is
what they
around the
should've-
time Saw came out. Give it that fucking greenish look.
You know who they should have hit up if they wanted to know how to light? The brother Strauss,
That's true.
who did Alien vs. Predator
Yeah.
Requiem.
Yep.
That had a lot of scenes in the woods at night.
Yep.
And they look terrible. But no, the CGI decapitation is pretty funny.
Yeah.
I used to think it was cool. Now I think it's hilarious.
But then that's followed up with maybe the funniest comedy
this is
scene.
like a Home Alone sort of
when
level.
they hit him with the branch.
Well, yeah,
Oh
they're
my God.
like, listen. I'm gonna hold this branch, or you hold this branch, and I'll distract them. She's like, no, you're not fast enough. It's like, you hold the branch, and I'll get him to come to me. And the killer's like, ooh, it's like Predator, where they're trying to like lure him into a trap. Unlike Predator, this idiot falls for the trap. So the crazy guy, who is actually the main crazy guy, we've seen him in a movie recently.
Yeah.
He was one of the Kryptonian elders who gets shot in the beginning of Man of Steel.
And this thing falls
Check
off.
out our Patreon to listen to our
Yeah,
commentary.
watch me cry.
He was the guy with the
Baby.
big bird nose in the movie. He's got like a huge
I know
nose.
exactly
Any
what
of the
you're talking
scenes where he's like backlit, his makeup was a straight
Looks
up
like haggis.
Is it no from the witch from Pumpkinhead.
Her name was Haggis.
Oh, was it? Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, wow, they just ripped that makeup off, you
Yeah.
know? But then I was like, you know what was a better version of this? Home, the X-Files episode.
Yes.
That was way better.
Yes.
Home is so
Yeah.
good.
And that one, same thing. A lot of that is in harsh sunlight, but they made it way better than, you know.
Fucking 20th Century Fox.
Yep.
Who also did the X-Files.
Yep.
That's
But yeah, so when she holds back the branch and hits him,
He goes like flying.
it looked like Home Alone.
It looked
was
like
so dumb.
I was like, good job, Kevin McAllister.
I'm gonna add Joe Pesci's like cursing to it. Here we go. Here's the scene. So yeah, they make a run for it, and they end up at a
waterfall.
Where Eliza Dushku tells him that she has bad abandonment issues and doesn't know how to handle breakups, and that's the reason all her friends are dead now.
Again, I would have booby-trapped the waterfall if I was a giggling scoundrel cannibal hillman.
Yeah.
Second off, she's in a white t-shirt. We're under a waterfall.
Yes.
Give me a fucking
Yes.
wet Elijah Dushku. Is it so much
Yes.
to ask? Like, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake is not great.
You got a hot
Jennifer
Jessica Biel.
is moist the entire movie. And you know what?
Moist.
So was I. But then, yeah, my favorite part of this scene where she's telling about her boyfriend is that she speaks only in pregnant pauses.
So the worst scene in the movie comes up. I hate this scene.
Yeah.
It's the 0 stars. 0 stars.
Oh, right.
They make it to the road, and a cop shows up. And I was like, oh, thank God, these characters are saved. A cop showed up. Poor cop gets shot in the eye.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? There's a lot of gore in this movie. I don't think we have to resort to eye violence. Right? I think we should can we make like a trend, a petition to stop eye violence in movies, please? Can
Well,
we?
she got taken though right before that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they
So
took
she
her.
gets, she all of a sudden, everyone gets killed in the goddamn moment, except her. They're just like, we're gonna
Which would
slightly
make
take
more
you.
sense with my version of the story.
With your version, but we didn't watch her
But
version.
again, the cop is like, oh, you were the one making all that noise. We've been looking for you all day. So
One
you're
cop, by the way, and it wasn't a state trooper.
Yeah.
and we show a car.
Surprised it wasn't like a
Everyone is
forest.
dying. All my friends are dying. Please come find me. I'm just.
It's
an
M. Night
idiot state
Shyamalan as his
trooper.
park ranger from The Village shows up, and he's like,
Fucking the Trailer Park Boys had more people hunt
Yeah.
them in the woods. And
Yeah.
the first finale of season 7, where they're on the American-Canadian border, and it's like the American police, the Canadian Mounties, and then the park rangers, and they're all fighting over who gets to arrest them. And they're like, I'm sorry, I'm good. They're like asking, they're like, all right, what do we get with you? Oh, this many years. What do you get this many years? And then the park rangers are like, you get a $300 fine, you have to take several classes. And they're like, that sounds good.
but again, like we saw a car graveyard that still had blood on it, which I don't think is possible. Were those fresh kills on all those cars that were out
by the
there?
way,
I was questioning too.
I assume there's a lot of missing persons reports.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're not covered. The cops could just if they go to helicopter that field, they're like, oh, there they all are.
Yeah, exactly. No, because again, Jack Death didn't know how to write a screenplay, which is now the continuity for this movie.
And it looks like everyone was going camping. Is this a popular camping spot now?
Yeah.
And then all this, but what?
I know. But then, thankfully, the shot doctor, Indiana Jones and Arnold in Collateral damages his way to exactly where he needs to be.
Yes.
By getting under the truck and holding on.
Yeah, he holds onto the truck like
And I'm
Arnold.
and I got so mad. I was watching in my office the other night, and I pointed at my screen, and I was like, fuck you, no.
Check out our collateral damage episode if you want to know what that's all about. I think we died at the end of that episode. Oh,
Yeah.
we don't show us getting shot, so I guess Arnold spared us, but he gave us a stern talking
Yes,
to.
again, like Mr. Lobo being the landlord, the continuity on this show is very loose.
In this version of the script, what point do they have keeping Eliza
No,
alive?
exactly.
Why?
There's absolutely none.
Because they killed other people elsewhere and drug them back like you would a deer.
It wasn't like they were keeping the women. It's
Yeah.
like, no, they killed the women.
That's the thing. I kept playing with her face with the knife, so I was like, okay, maybe he just thinks she's pretty and like wants to keep her as a pet.
But no, it just seemed like he was ready to kill her. I don't know. But Desmond, he decides, because he's very smart. He's a doctor. So he's like, how am I going to save my friend who's chained up to the bed in there? Well, I know. I'll light the goddamn cabin on fire, and then I'll drive my truck through the goddamn cabin. And by the way, if there's any shrapnel or anything, she's screwed because she's tied to the bed and literally cannot get up. I'm like, you almost just killed her faster.
He's helping. He could join up with them. He's like, hey, right? Huh? And he's like, so he gets to her and he untires her. He's like, everything's going to be all right. If I was writing this movie at that fucking moment, a machete would have split his head in half.
That would have been great.
And
I
then
was
she
waiting
has
for
to like rip the barbed wire off her hand,
Yeah.
and it could be a scene where it's like John
Gerald's game?
or like the character in this movie, her name is after Gerald's game,
Right,
Yeah,
right,
which I
right.
looked at the IMDb trivia for.
Yeah.
But like, it would be cool if it was like John McClane walking on the broken glass or something like
Yeah.
that.
There was nothing though on her wrist. For someone that just went through all of that, her makeup's great.
She's got barely anything- yeah.
She's got a couple scrapes on her head that I think changed throughout the movie.
Look,
to be
she's-
honest.
It was Eliza Dushku.
You have no Right, talking about continuity in movies from fucking Swamp Zombies 2.
Swamp Zombies
2, right there.
Right here.
Crystal's in her underwear in it. Whoa, look at all the simps.
I don't think anyone's actually noticed. We put movies that we were in or made.
Yeah.
We got rid of it was like the movies that were in and the ones we made.
Yeah.
I gotta get Bongo.
So, Bongo's the worst fucking movie ever. So he unties her and
Well, he tries to untie her, and they get
he
into a
gets
fight.
tacked. She gets loose though, and like now she's Hawkeye.
Well, no, all right. This faked me out for a second. So they're fighting. The guy gets hit with the arrow, and for a minute, because we see her grab an arrow, and then it cuts that scene. I'm like, wait. For a minute, I'm like, don't fucking tell me she threw the arrow with her hand.
Oh, that'd have been
what I
even
thought,
better.
too.
Like, I literally thought that, and then they showed like her with the arrow.
Yeah,
it makes a little bit more sense. He was a little closer.
So she's stunning and brave.
She's stunning and brave. Yes,
Brave
you're
like the movie, because she uses a bow and arrow in the movie. Remember that movie? What would have been awesome is if she missed and fucking hit Doctor Guy in the head.
Yeah.
And then, like, again.
How does she have that power? How does?
Oh, that
I don't
happened
think
in
she's
that
ever.
happened in The Strangers.
Oh, yeah.
When the friend comes and they shoot him on accident.
Have you guys actually ever used a bow and arrow before?
Yeah.
I have never used a bow and arrow.
Yeah, I have.
It's not one of those things where you just pick up and you're just a pro the first time you've
No,
ever used
no.
it. I don't think she's ever used
What if
one
she
before.
hasn't? What if the boyfriend who left her was the person who trained Gina
Well, no,
Davis
I think
when
they-
Gina Davis was in the Olympics for archery?
Well, listen. I think they established early on that she's like smart with the woods and she knows.
She's clearly not
like an
smart in the
outdoor.
woods.
I think the movie wants you to think
They
she's
also
like
claim
an
that he's a
outdoors
doctor
person.
and he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Yes. None of them are dressed for the outdoors, by the way.
No. I mean, not as bad as the end of Alien versus Predator, where
Okay,
she
yeah,
doesn't have a jacket and she's Antarctica.
So I love that, like, the killers are in there. They're all beat to shit. Everything's on fire.
Yeah.
And the guy's got the shotgun, and he's like, oh no, how are we going to kill them? And in my mind, I'm like, just leave them alone.
Yeah, let it burn.
Because we see the gas tank. We know he's going to shoot the gas
Yeah.
tank, but I'm like, look, they're not fast. I mean, stay there with the gun. Make
Yeah.
sure they don't come out of the cabin and just wait for the gas tank to get
Yeah.
hit. Instead, he shoots the gas tank. And I was watching with my girlfriend. I'm like, I would have stood a couple feet further
Before
back.
I did that.
He's like, oh, I got to shoot the gas.
They were so
I don't know how
close.
fire works. By the way, that's a movie thing. Okay, explosions don't just propel you.
No.
Like, in movies, even movies I like do this, but it's so funny how they just don't get explode. Like, yeah, explosions throw you. It's like, yeah, and all your bones and insides are shat. Like, what did it well was the Hurt Locker.
Oh, yeah.
At the beginning, was it Guy Pearce? He's running, and the explosion happens. You see me like spits up blood because he has all this internal bleeding. But in movies, you just shoot a gas tank and be like, oh, that threw me a little bit. I thought that was so fucking dumb. I'm like, this was the easiest thing to get out of in this movie, and you overcomplicated it. You almost died. I love this ending, though.
Yeah.
I really, really love this ending. They drive back to the gas station with the killer's car, and I like that which doesn't make sense when I tell you about Wrong Turn 2. The gas station owner's like, oh no, but the guy gets out and he rips the map off the wall so he won't make
Because that'll
another.
stop anyone from ever making a wrong turn ever again.
It's so he doesn't make a wrong turn again.
Because he's an idiot? All right, yeah. Okay,
I thought that was really fucking funny.
But I was upset they killed I thought that the giggling hillbilly was dead. But I was very happy when he came back in the mid-credit scene. I was like, oh, my favorite character. And they look so much cooler burned up. I was like, oh, that would have been cooler if that was the whole movie.
I totally missed that.
You didn't watch the
No,
mid-credit
it was
scene?
over, and I was like, fuck this shit.
My thoughts on it, there's a few good scenes in it. There's some cool kills and gore, but it is wrapped up in a ball of cliches that I've seen done better elsewhere. But I've also seen worse ripoffs, so that's why, like, I've definitely seen movies like this that were way worse.
Did you ever see the in no way, shape, or form associated with Sleepaway Camp movie? It's like Return to Sleepaway Camp, where they just called it that.
That was the fourth one, but it's a direct sequel to the first one, but ignores 2 and 3.
No, this one is about a caveman in a park.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking. There is a real Return to Sleepaway Camp. Yes, I have that.
And
I have that movie over there. I think.
So there's a cut of that movie that just has hardcore pornography in it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember there is a movie about a camp killer, but he's like a cave person.
Yeah.
I have it over there.
But there's like Don't Go in the Woods and
Yeah.
stuff like that, you know.
like that movie is way worse than this. It's way worse.
But that one has, you know, there's a
Actual
baby
sex?
no, that one has a baby that like is gonna be the next killer, which is what I thought they should do with this. They're keeping her because she's gonna breed them the new whatever. Just like in Home, they keep the mother as like, you know, that would make more sense. This movie was miserable.
I didn't think it was that.
Oh, I thought it was like, even by
I'll
early.
probably never watch it again.
Yeah, even by early 2000s, I was just like, wow, is this where we were?
Crystal, as an Eliza Dushku fan, how does this rank in your Eliza Dushku catalog of films?
I'm gonna say Bring It On is still first, and I guess this would be about second.
Would her fans be called douchebags?
They should be. Well, we have hack-offs, so...
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
I did a poll like last year.
Oh.
And I think
That was before the show became popular when I joined it. Yeah.
it was before I revived Newt's failed YouTube career.
makes
You're
more
welcome,
sense.
Newt.
I
You're welcome.
was Paperboy 3, god damn it.
Yeah, but what were you the last couple years?
I wasn't allowed to be on rental reviews.
Anyway, so as we already mentioned, this spawned a bunch of sequels.
Yeah.
So recently,
Oh, no.
as I said, I have 2, 3, and 5. I watched all in one day. I watched 1, 2, and 3.
Why did you do that to yourself?
Guys, Wrong Turn 2 Dead End is fucking awesome. This movie is so stupid and insane, and it doesn't give a fuck. Here's the premise. If you guys haven't found, if you guys don't know, there is a reality show being shot in the woods, and the premise of the reality show is you're supposed to pretend that you're like in the apocalypse, and you have to. It's like Survivor kind of. Henry Rollins is the host of the show, and he's like a badass
They're like,
military
we
guy.
need a mad guy with tattoos.
Yes. So it's being shot in the woods with webcam, well, like, you know, head cams, and then a guy has a Panasonic HVX 200, which is my old camera, and I was like, oh, that's my old camera. It has its own cliches, but it turns them on their head.
Okay,
Like-
which is what this should have done.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you like what happens if I give you this premise. There's a bunch of like actors, and they're all kind of like stuck up, but the one actress doesn't make it because she was split. She literally gets split in half, and then her clothes like stay on the severed parts of her body.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's how the movie opens.
I would be so much happier if I saw
Yeah,
that.
the only problem is Patton Oswalt's in it, so you got to like listen to Patton Oswalt. But this is back when he was funny.
That's back
This
when
is
Patton Oswalt was funny. Yeah.
So like the premise is, you know, there's a bunch of reality shows, everyone's vain, but then the one dorky girl who's supposed to be behind the scenes, they force her to be on camera. What happens to that girl by the end of the movie,
You would
Crystal?
think that she
She's
would
the
survive.
final girl.
Yeah.
No!
She dies?
Her boyfriend cheats on her, and she gets sad, and she gets fucking murdered before the halfway point of the movie. It throws you a curveball. It's so awesome.
It's just like the beginning of Psycho.
Yes. So everyone's getting like murdered, and at one point, Henry Rollins literally becomes Arnold in Predator. He gets like suited up, he puts the makeup on and everything, and he starts hunting the hillbillies. There's more hillbillies, by the way. The survivor from the previous one, he is busy taking care of a baby, so he's not in the movie that much because he's like a father now, I guess.
Well, yeah. Is it someone else's baby though? Because kind of cut.
Yeah, you see who the well, I assume they're all having sex with the one mother, but there is. Okay, here's another scene that happens. The girl whose boyfriend cheated on him, the girl he cheated with, right? She's hanging out naked by the woods.
Nice.
So it has nudity. All right,
so
good.
one of the hillbillies, this is a real fucking scene. One of the hillbillies starts jerking off, but his mutant hillbilly incest sister finds him, gets mad at him, beats him up, and then goes and kills that girl. And then they have sex, and the other characters run into them having sex.
Why didn't
You
we
have
watch
just
that
sold this
movie?
Listen.
Why did
No,
you have us
guys.
watch this one?
Dude, it gets better. It gets better. Remember Creepy Gas Station Guy?
Yeah.
Now, when I was watching Wrong Turn 1, in my head, I'm like, well, this is a ripoff. He's going to be like the reluctant father of the mutants, like in Hills Have Eyes. So he tells the origin of everything that happened to Henry Rollins while Henry Rollins is like stitching himself up after a fight he had. And he's like, yeah, those crazy people, they're like you and me, but they hunted all the animals in the woods, and then they had to turn to people, and they've been killing people ever since. And Henry Rollins is like, well, why do you stay up there? And then he goes, gotta take care of my youngin'. So he's actually the father of the killers.
God.
He is the father of the killers, right? And he gets into a fight with Henry Rollins. And Henry Rollins throws dynamite on him, and he doesn't realize he puts dynamite in his back of his pants and lights it, and the old guy's like, blah, 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 what? And he just blows. And then Henry Rollins dies at one point. He gets just like barbed wire all over him. He dies like heroically saving the two. It's so good. And then it ends with the little guy taking care of the baby.
Oh.
Wrong Turn 2 is so good.
Why didn't we watch Wrong Turn 2
why did you do this to us?
Because since the first one's getting remade, Wrong Turn 1 gets more search results. I'm sorry.
Well,
but that's why I'm telling you about Wrong Turn 2.
Well, we are going to watch the remake.
We will. And when we do watch the remake, I will tell you what happened in 4, 5, and 6. Now, Wrong Turn 3, letdown. So,
Wishmaster 3?
Yes. So the story in that one, it's like a bunch of prisoners are being transferred to another prison, and the one guy is like trying to break out because he's like in he's like in a gang, and his guys are gonna come get him or whatever. Crazy guy, main dude. He has a name. He has an official name, whatever it is.
Is it always the same actor?
No, it's always the same character, non-actor.
Okay.
No, that guy, he got that Zack Snyder money afterwards. He runs the prison bus off the road, and they're all shackled together, and they take the cops hostage, and they're like running in the woods. And it's that guy, and then the little baby grew up to be a teen, and then the one prisoner kills the teen. So now, crazy guy wants revenge on the people he's trying to murder for murdering his baby son, and it's not that good. There's a lot of like backstabbing, like they find a bunch of money at one point. Because I guess the killers kill someone with money.
This is like, what was that Sam Raimi movie?
A Simple Plan?
Simple Plan meets Assault on Precinct 13 meets the second Hills Have Eyes movie. You know, the movie where the dog has a flashback scene.
Yeah. It's a huge letdown after how fucking awesome 2 is.
Was there at least a lot of good kills in it?
In 3, no. The kills aren't good in 3. 2, phenomenal. 3, don't.
Is there as many kills?
Yeah, there's probably as much.
It's just amazing.
But it sounds good.
It's just amazing because the first one is so forgettable that they made 6 of them.
Yeah, and now a
reboot. And the reboot played in theaters.
For a day.
I know, but still, it got a theatrical premiere.
Yeah,
and it's just like I get that these movies are super cheap to make, but why?
I think 4 is a prequel.
Okay.
So I will come back, you guys, with the origin of our family that we love.
I appreciate that.
5 has Doug Bradley in it. I looked at the back of the DVD, and he's in it.
He'll do anything. We can get him on this show.
Yeah, we should.
Doug Bradley.
I met Doug Bradley.
I met him as well.
I have it at home. I have Hellraiser signed by him. And then I don't know what 6 is.
Did you see that the Justice League has that mother box that's full of food?
Yeah.
And it looks like a puzzle box.
I
was like, how crazy it'd be if you open that and fucking chains come out.
When we watch the 4-hour-long Snyder Cut, can we order the Justice League food box?
I've made that. It is an acceptable cost of this show is we are going to have that super...
Oh, that's right. Newt is the financial advisor for Hack the Movies Video.
I'm handling all of your business now.
Yes. Hack the Movies Video is really booming.
We are completely...
I think us refusing to close during lockdown really helped our sales.
Exactly. Yep.
So that was the original Wrong Turn.
Oh my God.
Very forgettable, but if anything, if you could take one thing away from this, it's please watch Wrong Turn 2.
I'm going to watch Wrong Turn 2.
Yeah.
I want you to watch it because I feel you're either going to be like, Tony, you're fucking stupid.
Well.
Oh, wait.
I say that every day.
Back up. Wrong Turn 3 has one good kill. I sent you the video as I was watching it. Newt, you got to see this effect. This is in Wrong Turn 3. You ready? Oh, no. You know what? There is some interesting continuity because the cop is like, we have to go to the watchtower. There's a gun in it, but then it's the burnt watchtower from the first one. But now it's funny when you watch the first one, you're like, oh, they didn't know that there was a gun in there.
Nope.
Did that actually get burnt down in the future films?
Yeah, remember
fully gets burnt down.
I don't think you see it fully get burned down, but they burn it.
They burn it.
Yeah.
But you just see fire at the top. I'm pretty sure if there was a fire there, it would have collapsed already.
Look,
yeah, it's burnt by the time 3 comes around.
asking perfectly logical
Yes.
questions. Jack Death did not have time to write the script with logic in it. He had to find the person in the past who's related to the person who killed his wife.
Yes. It's like you don't care about Jack
Trancers, yeah. Full Moon. Charles Band. Call
Hit us
us.
up.
Get to us before we write the next Predator movie.
Yes.
Because
Trancers-
Disney's are...
Trancer 7. We're ready. We're ready for Trancer 7.
We might write it and not even get asked to. Clearly, we have enough time where Tony's watching 8 wrong turn movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have plenty of time. Yeah, so that was Talking About Tapes.
Talking
I've been
About
Tony
Tapes.
from Hack the Movies. Here with Crystal.
Hey.
And
the
Newt.
social media links are at the bottom. And yeah, check out our Man of Steel commentary. We got to do Batman v Superman.
Yeah, we
soon.
do, and Suicide Squad.
It might already be out by the time this episode airs.
We
so.
gotta do Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I rewatched it. It was not as bad as what I thought.
Yeah, I guess. So.
But I also was drinking very heavily.
Yes. No, you are not allowed to drink in all future commentary tracks.
So
All right.
So that's it. I don't have a wrong turn joke.
No, I don't either.
No, nothing.
No.
Sorry.
Just end it.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.
Talking about tapes.